order in the court. What it do, yeah? It's your brother, man, from the motherland, coming to you guys live from the NY, back with another one of that Samba Conversation. For those that don't know who I am Honorable Junes, the NBIC. Giving all praise and glory to the heavenlies, for they are worthy to be what? To be praised. Last but not least, I want to give a shout out to all you guys for your continuous support, leaving all that feedback, the positive, the negative. All things is respected and needed because it allows me to do what I do best, people, and that is to continue keeping my foot on you heathens, you he-goes, and the newly installed heathenites next. Round of applause for that. Yeah, man. We're gonna have a good Samba conversation. Let me start off by saying my apologies. Had to stop at my mom's crib, get my daughter her pancakes. You know she's not gonna, and she's on her period, so you already know she's already on edge. She's like, Dad, leave me be. So you know I had to get her food, but neither here nor there. I hope you guys had a phenomenal week. My week was phenomenal here in New York, or should I say here in the eastern region. It's just been raining like crazy. Word on the street is they had a hurricane come from Florida, made its way up to the northern east side where we at. Other than that, man, it was good. The weather's beautiful right now. It's supposedly supposed to be good for the rest of the week. But other than that, everything is cool. I can't complain. Once again, letting you guys know. Hold on. You got locked out? My daughter's locked out. Give me 2 seconds. My apologies. Yeah, other than that, just giving you guys an update. Like I told you guys before, the Summer Conversations is brought to you by Life Coach on the Go LLC. It's a nonprofit organization that's designed to cater and guide the black and brown people all across the world. My services is to what I do here is what I do in real life. You know, I try to tell you guys this. This is not, internet fugazi. But anybody that's looking for consulting, need counseling, need guidance, need some level of encouragement, I am your guy. As you know, I make it convenient for the people. Okay, the same price you will buy a pair of Jordans and video games, and you know what I'm saying, you can toss it and spend it and investing on yourself to be a better you, right? So the better you can change the world, right? So this is what we about. But neither here nor there. Today I decided, I'm taking a new approach as far as how I'm doing this summer conversation. Um, I have to, I guess, allow individuals to present you guys with information to help you guys understand how you have been overtaken by Satan and how your mind, you think that you are, following your beliefs and things that is upon you, but a lot of our people don't realize it's a foundation. Like, right, this is a planned tactic that has affected and has destroyed the mass majority of our people. So I decided moving forward, we're going to do what Samba Conversation is supposed to do, and that's have conversations. We're going to play videos. We're going to listen to experts. We're going to be a part of documentaries. And sooner or later, we're going to start interviewing particular individuals, because this knowledge that we need to have as colored people is very important, and it's also very limited nowadays because they know that we're waking up, so they're removing a lot of things from us. So my job as a fellow scholar, as a brother, you know what I'm saying, as a father, as a child, my job is to do the works that the creators put upon me to do, and that is to wake you guys up and hopefully start a brand new family so we can prepare ourselves to go back home. So on today's Samba Conversation, I want to show you guys, we're going to go over a documentary by a good brother named Robert Beckford. He put together a documentary titled The Greatest African Scandal. But I want to call it The Greatest African Scandal Never Told. And in this documentary, my brother goes to, he speaks to people and then makes his way into the land and see exactly what our people has to go through just so you guys can live luxury and be happy. And like I tell you guys all the time, Africa is the land of milk and honey. Okay, all this Middle East nonsense, let's kill that. Okay, all this, that's the land of ham, let's kill that. Your ideologies was given to you by a particular group of people. Don't you realize your ideologies is never designed to take down the creators of this ideology? See, you guys gotta process that. So somebody give you something and it's supposed to uplift you to go against the person that gave it to you, and it's not, that means it was designed to put you in the condition that you're in. But that's neither here nor there. Without further ado, we're gonna watch it. Grab your popcorns. As you can see, I got my Mocha Cocoa. You heard? We gonna sip it nice and slow, and we gonna give it like how Usher give it. You heard? So let's get it happening.
In Africa who's had to produce it. Oh no, I hear you say. Poor people being exploited in... Excuse me.
Just a FYI, we will be commentating in the process. So when you see this, let me show you. Just know that that's me pulling up, and I'm gonna have something to say. Okay, let me mute this one right here. All right, so just giving you guys a heads up, we're gonna give righteous commentary. Okay, so let us continue.
That chocolate bar you're eating, did you know kids as young as 10 are working to produce the cocoa that goes into it? How does it make you feel? Do you know that children as young as 10 are being used to produce the cocoa that goes into that chocolate? Does that disturb you? That old necklace you're wearing, did you know that people are being poisoned and beaten in order for you to wear that chain?
And as you can see, man, you notice that these people, they don't even have a care of disgust. Like, oh really? Damn. You seen the Arab girl? She looked like, okay, what's the problem? I want to eat this chocolate. But let us continue. Let's continue.
Do you like rice?
Yes.
How would you feel about the fact that cheap American rice is being used to put farmers in the developing world out of business? Rice, don't forget it. Excuse me. Be honest. Rarely, when you pick something up from the supermarket shelf, do you consider the poor beggar in Africa who's had to produce it. Oh no, I hear you say. Poor people being exploited in Africa. What can I do about it? Well, I believe consumers can influence.
Fair use, YouTube. This is for educational purposes, and just an FYI, brothers and sisters, you will be very, very upset. So, parental and vision, advise, whatever saying that goes along with it, just fair use. And yes, you will be upset at the end, but we have to talk about these things, okay? Let's continue.
Powers that be. So I've come to Africa on the trail of our 3 high street products: rice, chocolate and gold. I'm going to meet the people who produce them and see for myself the lives they lead. Can I, as a Westerner, do the work that they do? I'm knackered after 10 minutes. And I'm also going to take on some powerful multinational companies. No, that's cowardice. You can pay above it if you want to, you can. My name's Robert Beckford. I'm an academic and theologian. I'm in the capital of Ghana, thousands of miles from my home in Birmingham. Over 200 years ago, the British seized my ancestors from here and shipped them to Jamaica as slaves. This year, Ghana is celebrating the 50th anniversary of its independence from British rule. Is Ghana free? Is Ghana free?
Now I gotta ask a question. Do you guys really believe that we are literally free? I don't know how far you guys eternalize things, but the fact that I see our black people still wearing European clothing and customs, and then the fact that I see a European standing on the top of the balcony looking down, are we really free? Or are they making sure that we are free but under the guidelines of their rulership? I'm just saying, please leave your comments down in the post. I'll be watching it as these videos pull up. If you want me to pause it, let me know. If you have a question, let me know. You understand? We having conversations now. This is the Samba conversation that we've been waiting for, and I'm here. I'm at your front door. Okay? The creators told me I must do this. So let us proceed.
Wonder, or has the West replaced slavery with economic chains? For several decades, Western companies and organizations like the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, and the World Bank have effectively run the economies of many African countries. I want to know, why is it after 50 years, Ghana, despite being a prosperous country, being rich in minerals, having a stable democracy, is still one of the poorest countries on this planet? I'm going to find out why. I start my journey by flying from Accra to the capital of the agricultural north, Tamale. Remember my packet of supermarket rice? Well, this is a so-called rice growing area, and I've come here to find out how Western policies have impacted on local people. I'm going to work with some rice farmers and try to survive on their income. My target is to earn the average national daily income in Ghana, about 60p a day. My guide and translator is Victoria Adongo, herself from a farming background.
You think he's going to make it, Victoria?
Oh yes, I know he can make it.
Good to see you got a bit of faith in me, good. We're heading for a Muslim village called Birima, a short drive from Tamale. This area was at the heart of Ghana's rice bank.
As you can see, he said a Muslim village. I please, people, I want you to pay attention to everything that's being said. Don't overlook nothing. Pay attention to everything that's being said. Hold on, let me put my volume down. Pay attention to everything that's being said. It's very important. He said a Muslim village. Here, religion, here it goes again. Just a FYI.
Basket. In the early 1970s, the country was nearly 50% self-sufficient in rice production. But looking at the village now, I find it hard to believe. I think this is it.
Yeah, this is it. This is Birima.
Birima.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to be the guest of Mohammed Nusa and his brother Hussein.
Hello.
I'd like...
Entre.
Let's find the accommodation where I'll be staying. Oh, just here is the bathhouse. Where does the water come from? From the river. So you have to go to the river first to get the water. So do you go and fetch water, or does somebody else go and fetch it?
The women.
We'll go and get the water. Well, I'm going to...
Just a FYI. This is one of the poorest countries. You see how they live in, but they generate 80% of the world's minerals. And you see how they live in. Could it possibly be because these dudes could decide to call themselves Muhammad and Hussein? I mean, let us continue.
Try and go to the river, because I think that it's only fair that I get my own water. Okay? What about the lavatory? Toilet
is just outside. Bush. We don't have
bush.
Toilet.
Yes.
We go to the bush.
So anyway.
And let me just throw an FYI. When you see children like that, they're not misnourished. They're not eating the American way. See, outside of America and European controls, we are known to eat one meal a day. We know that our body is supposed to only intake one meal a day. Okay? This is why people in Africa live at a long particular age. The reason why our people is dying is because of the integration with the enemy. Okay? And he's gonna show you. Just throwing that out there.
So you just follow the path.
Yes. You can shoot up the trees.
In the
trees.
Okay. All right, that's helpful. That's helpful to know. It's a big bathroom. I thought I'd go and collect some water in order to be a little bit more efficient tomorrow, rather than having to go and get some first thing in the morning. And how many miles is it to get the water?
Yes, about 1 mile.
So 2 miles in total. This is the nearest place where the villagers can draw water, and even then they're taking a huge risk. The pond is infested with guinea worm. If the larvae hatch in your stomach, you're in for years of agony as the worms work their way through your body and out through the soles of your feet. Now, this water doesn't look very clean to me.
Maybe.
It's clean?
Yes.
It's clean.
When they carry it to home, they filter it.
Oh, right. Thank you. It's really heavy. Really heavy. Right, what I'm going to try and do is put it on my head. I feel kind of embarrassed because, as you can see, there are kids a fraction of my age who have outstripped me already. So that girl in front of me is probably carrying more than me. She's got a metal bucket and it's full to the brim. You can see this is keeping the locals very much entertained. God, it's rough on the neck. But I can see.
First and foremost, share this, people. Share this. And yes, my sisters. Do you see what we do? You understand? But it is wonderful. You know why? Because I see the greater good out of this, right? Everybody is working. People is on their feet. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the way of old, people. This Western lifestyle that we are living, this is brand new to us. The way of old. When I went to Haiti with my moms, I literally had to go. The same thing that they're doing. I really had to go and get water and bring it back. It was something I've never experienced. But as I get older, I understand. You see, when you have everything handed to you, it makes us what we are now. Part of the reasons why we can't elevate, part of the reasons why we can't come together, part of the reasons why we don't want to have these discussions and talk about Black liberation, because you will have to revert back to things like this, and a lot of us don't want to do that. You understand? But I see the beauty of it. People is working out. They're up and early. They jogging. They miles in. They working out. They eating. They get their water. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but you know, I'll just leave it as that. You know. But share this though, please share. Hit the like button, man.
The village now. Is that the village ahead? My neck is killing me. But I can't really wimp out, or else these guys will think that I won't be worth my labour tomorrow. Okay. I seem to have made an impression by fetching my own water, but I'm here to earn my living. So I wonder how much I could make carrying water for other people.
When you go to the river, we may pay you for a bucket of water for 1,000.
1,000. Okay, so 1,000 cedis. That's just 5p. That's 2,000. If I go 3 times, 3,000. Not 5,000 for 3. 3,000. You're a hard man to bargain with. Just looking around at the people, I could tell that they were really hard-working and super fit. But something isn't right. All the machinery is busted, and you can see that there's a degree of frustration behind all the laughs and the smiles that the people have. Why is it when the people are so hard-working, are they so underproducing? Well, what kind of forces are preventing them from truly flourishing? That looks so feminine. It's actually quite frightening, isn't it?
What is preventing them from truly flourishing? And when you go down this rabbit hole, like I've been telling you, you know what's preventing them. You know who's preventing them, and you know exactly what they're using to prevent them. And I'll say it like this: Mohammed.
All I've done today is carry water for a mile, and I'm totally shattered. Even the children laughed at me. Tomorrow, I've got to work in the fields. I'll be knackered after 5 minutes. That's my biggest worry. God knows if I can do this. Today's my first day as a rice farmer in northern Ghana. I'm a long way from home and a long way from the smart offices of Western companies and organisations. I'm here to find out if their policies are behind what I'm about to experience. But first, I need a wash and brush up. Got to admit though, it is a bit smelly around here. This little shower place here. But then again, I've been into many a musky shower in my day.
Don't they use it as a urinal as well?
Do they?
I think so.
Oh right, okay, that would probably explain the smell. It is a bit fresh, as they say. Next, I haggle over my wages. We agree on 20,000 cedis. That's £1 a day, nearly double the average national daily income in Ghana. I'll be knackered after 5 minutes. That's my biggest worry, is that these guys are really skilled at doing this stuff. They know how to do it. This isn't just a case of being out here in the heat, it's also the fact that I just haven't done a great deal of manual labour, which says a lot, doesn't it, really? My first job is to clear some scrubland to make way for a new rice field. The ground is rock hard and the axes have thick metal handles to absorb the shock. They weigh a ton.
How was that?
There's a lot to do, isn't there? You've got to clear all of this. Yeah. I'm knackered. I'm knackered after 10 minutes. As we work, the farmers tell me about the destruction of rice farming. Up until the 1980s, the Ghanaian government handed out grants for fertilizer and machinery. Then the IMF and World Bank moved in and put a stop to state subsidies. The new mantra was the free market and privatization. The farmers were back to square one.
I mean, oh man. Listen, man. Just know there's a force that's preventing us from elevating. Please, people, listen to this brother Robert carefully. Jot down everything. Share this with your friends and family. Save this Samba conversation, because these are the conversations we will be having moving forward, because I'm about this liberation. I'm not trying to hear all of this, you know what I'm saying? All of this European stuff and philosophy. We passed that chapter now. Now is we at the space where we're gonna have to do something. But let us continue. Let us continue.
Man, look at me, it's terrible, isn't it? The men are working there, I'm here with the kids. Thank God it's Friday, because they only work a fraction of the day because I have to go to the mosque for prayers. If it wasn't for that, I'd be completely fried out here. So my first day of work has been cut short. I think that's divine intervention. In the evening, I'm still recovering, but I need my wages. I haven't managed anything like a full day's work, and I've only carried 1 bucket of water.
They will pay you 5,000 cedis.
5,000 cedis?
For the work you did today.
5,000 cedis. 25 pence for my hour's work today. So that's 25p an hour I'm making at the moment. Okay, right. It's going to be hard for me to juggle my food, water. Oh, that's a point. What about the water? I bought some water. I bought some water. I bought some water. Hey, come on. You're trying to do me out of my earnings. Come on. You're do me out of my money, man.
How do you feel about the way that they've calculated your worth?
I think they've been completely fair. I think they've been fair. I can only last for an hour out there in the heat. I tried to skive and pretend I was working, but they saw through it. I'd contemplated.
You see what the Western world done to black men? Like my sisters just say, we wouldn't be able to survive. I don't even think I'll be able to survive. I think the anger in me will force me to complete it. Just the fact that I know I'm in a room full of alphas and warriors. Like I ain't about to be nobody's son. You heard? But other than that, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Overall, look what the Western has done to our people. Hey, I'll leave it as that, man.
Setting up a little union to try and drive up the wages, but nobody was on my side for that one. But it's fair. It's fair. I can't see how in this modern day and age we would subject people to this kind of livelihood just to make our part of the world richer. It just doesn't make any sense. You know, it is impoverishment. We're screwing them and the other people are screwing them. It's not something they've brought on themselves or willed or concocted or an act of God or some kind of misfortune. It's a calculated political process.
And a wise man once told me, you can't have political without a little bit of religion, and there's no religion without a little bit of politics. I just want you guys to just let that marinate. Please, let us do that. Continue.
It was a pretty rough old night, just sleeping on the floor, but they actually feel that for anybody to be living on their level of subsistence is terrible. It just makes it really difficult to actually try to live on subsistence because they don't want you to. The people in Birima have been too kind to me. They're just managing to produce enough to feed themselves and don't really have any spare cash for my wages. So I head for nearby Batanga, where the government and the World Bank set up an irrigation project. I've heard that thanks to the dam, the farmers here are growing enough rice to sell commercially, so perhaps a Brummie labourer can get a decent wage.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Robert Beckford.
Robert.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, Nashiru.
I meet up with two local rice farmers, Nash and Lancer. What's today's pay out here for a good labourer?
10,000 cedis a day.
10,000 cedis a
Cedis,
day?
yes.
That's less than what I was making at the on the farm.
In our environment here,
Yeah.
this is how the quantity, this is
10,000
the amount we
cedis.
pay. Yes.
I guess the subsistence farmers have been really generous to me. I guess this is much more like the realistic rate that people get paid, 10,000 cedis a day.
That's about 50p. Nash and Lancer are able to sell a bit of rice, but they're hardly rolling in cash. As we work, they tell me something which leaves me gobsmacked. In the 1980s, as part of their strategy to open up the Ghanaian market, the American government supplied rice as food aid. It was like sending snow to Eskimos. Rice as food aid?
Food aid. In the secondary schools, they were given foreign rice.
So hold on a minute, they're giving you aid, but they're giving you rice
They are
when you're already
giving you
farming
When
rice.
you are,
I mean, the case-
65% of the population in Ghana are into farming.
So hold on, but that doesn't make sense.
Contradiction.
Along with the sweetener of food aid, the IMF, the World Bank and the Americans told the Ghanaian government to cut subsidies to farmers and open up its markets to foreign imports. The food aid tailed off. Cheap foreign rice flooded in and Ghana's rice production stagnated.
Doesn't that make you angry? Because this to me seems nothing more than a kind of economic imperialism.
I used to tell even government officials and even outsiders that if Osama bin Laden comes here and he wants people, he will get them more. And you shouldn't be shocked to see even small children wearing his t-shirts. Because we feel we have been cheated, pushed to the wall. We are dying. And somebody is hitting the West. So we feel he's doing something in our favor.
Sympathy for Osama bin Laden.
That's chilling. It may seem like
Hey, fair use, YouTube. That's not me. I'm just playing the documentary. But at the same time, I can feel that pain. Do you hear what's going on? These people, you know what? I'm going to continue playing the video. I'm going to continue.
an extreme opinion, but what Nash is saying is that Western economic policies are driving Africans to the wall. Boss, can I have my wages, please?
Yeah. Today you are working half day. So I'm paying you half.
Half.
Half of the
That's
bowl.
fine. That's fine. I reckon I can make money by now selling the rice at the market.
It seems cruel to me that the IMF and the World Bank told Ghana to axe subsidies to its rice farmers, whilst the American government pays as much as 72% of their own farmers' production costs.
Scales of justice. Justice premium white rice, double polished, and it's a product of the United States.
We don't sell the local
You don't sell the local rice?
Yes.
Personally, what do you prefer? Do you prefer the American rice?
The American one is...
Do you see the madness, people? Do you see the madness, people? And you telling me that these people are for our best interest, and you're coming to teach us their philosophies and telling us that their way is the right way? We're reading these people's books, these people's stories, and we're putting our face on it, saying it is us. When they're doing little things like this, if they could do stuff like this to little old Ghana, just imagine what they will do to everybody else. I'm just throwing that out there. You see, the gavel is still in my hand. I'm just waiting for the moment to just bang it on you heathens.
Somehow delicious.
Delicious.
Yes.
Delicious. It tastes nicer
Yes.
than the local rice.
Yes.
Hardly surprising American rice tastes delicious when you consider how many millions of...
And look, you see how beautiful our sisters is? No weave, no makeup, no nothing. Gorgeous. Skin, no pimples, no nothing. And they eating cheap food. Remember in Rush Hour 2, where Chris Tucker went to go buy the suit, and the guy was like, cheap suit, cheap suit. He was like, how cheap it is. She over here eating cheap food, and still looking cute. Ladies, y'all gotta step y'all game up, man. Stop playing.
dollars of subsidies the government throws at it. Finally, tucked away in a corner, I tracked down some local producers trying to sell gritty homegrown rice.
Ask her, how much would she give me for a bag of rice?
One bowl, 10,000 cedis.
One bowl,
10,000
10,000 cedis. How many bowls does she think this will be?
This is half a bowl.
Okay, 5,000 cedis. Tell her I'm going to go and burn all the American rice today.
No, you are listening to Kafma Zaki in your dad.
Joking apart, I think it's a scandal. The IMF claim that poverty has been reduced in Ghana and that the economy is growing at 6% per year. But from what I've seen here, it seems to me that IMF and World Bank policies have undermined Ghanaian rice production and reduced hundreds of villages to abject poverty. Back in Birima, and much to the amusement of the men, I insist on trying to earn my keep by collecting firewood with the women, just about all I'm up to. As I gather my 20p's worth of wood, it dawns on me that teenage girls are almost completely missing from the village. I decide to get some parents together to try to find out why.
Who within your family has left the village?
Zelia.
A girl, his daughter called Zelia.
How old is she?
12 years.
She's 12 years old?
Yes.
Why did you let her go? Surely you'd want your daughter here with you.
She just took off and went to Kumasi in search of money.
That's a big responsibility on a 12-year-old girl.
Oh, Atuzopa, his sister.
His sister. And how old is she?
15 years.
She's 15 years old.
Yes.
The near collapse of rice farming and desperate poverty have driven the girls to look for work in Kumasi, Ghana's second city. As a father of 2 small children, I find this really upsetting.
I mean, it's really, really sad. Really sad. I mean, I can't imagine a 12-year-old having to go away from their family and trying to eke out a living. You know, that's just beyond me. And to think that they don't even know, you know, they don't really know if they're alive or well, to be quite honest, do they?
12 years old, people. 12 years old, 15 years old. Some of these young girls are being taken, put into, you know, these underworlds, these undergrounds. Like, these people don't even know where their children is at, man. All by the hands of those that's giving you information of who you are. I mean, I just want you to hear this, man. Let us continue.
I'm going to go and look for them. I'm going to go and look for all of them, and I'll send them your greetings.
I gave you guys fair use. You will be highly upset from this documentary, but you gotta watch it because I need you to understand what's really going on. Okay? The stories that we've been told over the years, again, has been lies. We are taking the words from the people who are putting our people, including yourself, in these circumstances. I want you guys to understand that. Let us continue.
I head off to find 4 girls from one small village in a city of over 1 million people. It seems like an impossible task. All I know is that the girls have headed south to Kumasi, a major trade route at the heart of Ghana, to work as Kayayi girls, carriers of goods. There's hardly a family in the north which hasn't lost a daughter to this mass migration. I hitch a ride on one of the hundreds of minibuses that leave Tamale for Kumasi every day, each one of them crammed with girls, hungry, homeless and desperate for work.
How old are you?
She's 15.
15. 15 years old. How old are you?
She's 12 years.
12 years old.
11.
11 years old. And about you?
They haven't
do your
told
parents,
them.
Do your parents? They haven't told the parents.
None of them has told them. The suffering here is more than their fear. What they fear doesn't really matter if you compare that to the poverty that they feel at home.
I feel sick. I feel really, really sick.
The Birima girls were somewhere out there in a big, frightening city. Would they still be alive? And how on earth would I find them?
Down here.
It's night time when I arrive in Kumasi in search of the girls from Birima village, who've travelled here to escape the hopeless poverty at home.
I'm looking for some girls from Birima.
I've been told that all the girls from near Tamale tend to live together in the same slum.
I'm looking for girls from Birima.
No, it is not them.
There's a lot of drink and drugs around here and I'm nervous. I've heard that some Kayayi girls get raped and are physically abused.
It smells awful. It smells absolutely awful. You can smell the open sewers, and it's just packed full of young people living and sleeping, you know, in nothing more than bits of wood. Anyway, I'm going to keep looking. Just keep looking.
How did you get them pictures?
These pictures are from their parents.
They're my parents.
They're from their parents. But listen, I've got to go this way. I've got to find them.
I know you'll find this hard to believe, but just as I'm about to give up, I can't believe my luck. I find the girls in a wood yard.
Birima! From Birima. That's you? No, that's this lady here. That's you. That's you. Tell them that their families say hello.
Some men who appear to be the girls' minders start to get a bit edgy, so we move the girls off to see where they're living.
Is anybody in there?
Yes, there are others. They don't sleep alone. They sleep with other girls from other villages. And you can hear at the background. Yeah. They were warning them not to open the door.
Okay. How do you feel about being here?
No, they don't feel good about it.
The worst thing, the absolute worst, degrading, nasty thing about all of this is it's not adults, it's not people who are trained and skilled and who can look after themselves. It's teenage girls. IMF, World Bank policies leading to teenage girls leaving home to have to hustle money. These policies aren't policies, it's international gangsterism.
It's shameful. The story of my packet of supermarket rice ends here in the awful slums of Kumasi. Next time you buy subsidized American rice, think what it's done to Ghana. But if you thought the tale of rice was disturbing, wait till you hear about chocolate. On the trail of our favorite treat, I head south to the cocoa fields of Sefi Wiaso. Cocoa is one of Ghana's most important exports and a vital ingredient of chocolate. I've heard stories of hard-up parents in the north sending their children south to work. I've even been told that children are rented out in exchange for a sewing machine or a bicycle.
Hello. Let me see. Let me see.
I can't imagine what it's like to be a child labourer. But to find out, I get myself a job on a cocoa farm.
As you can see, I'm working with a farmer here, his niece, who's about 15-year-old, and he's got a nephew here.
Just a FYI, every time you eat chocolate, right, I want you guys to do this moving forward. First, I want you to give all praise and glory to the creators. And secondly, give a shout out and honor and respect to your family members who's really in the trenches. You guys talking about we in the hood? I ain't in the hood. I'm not in the hood. I ain't. You know what? I need to change my vocabulary because I don't know what struggle is. I can go to the unemployment. I can go to the Social Security. I can go to the food stamp line. I can go anywhere and receive some level of aid. These little girls is leaving the hood. They going, that's like leaving Brooklyn to go all the way to Pennsylvania by your damn self at 12, 13, 14, 15 years old. They said one at 11, bro. 11 years old, man. I don't want to hear black people talking about times and life is hard. Miss me with that. Please, miss me.
Who is around about 9 or 10. So it's a very different setup to working on the rice farm. There are a few more kids involved and one young boy in particular that I'm hoping to get to know a little bit better as the day progresses. Could you ask her how much chocolate does she eat?
Alara, what is chocolate? She doesn't even know chocolate. They don't even know what it is.
Absolutely amazing. They've never ever tasted chocolate.
I've heard that Alara and Baba spend most of the day working for their uncle on his farm. I want to know why, but I have to be careful. Child labour is illegal in Ghana, and people are reluctant to talk about it.
As you can see, there's a lot of space to clear here. Taking these weeds out of the ground.
Finding out the true figure for the number of child labourers is incredibly difficult. But Newman Afoso is a local expert and reckons he has a handle on the problem.
What percentage of children are working underage?
That would be hard for me to say, but it's quite a number. Quite substantial, yeah.
Quite substantial number.
Yeah.
Because the government claim that at least 92% of them are in school.
That is debatable.
That's debatable.
Yeah.
How many would you estimate are really in school?
Maybe about 80%.
Right. So there might be at least 20% of them out there doing this kind of thing.
Even if it is one child, it is one child too many.
So does this mean that some of the chocolate I buy on the high street is made from cocoa picked by children? Possibly. Unless you buy fair trade cocoa, which is earmarked as such, almost all the cocoa produced in Ghana is taken to government-run depots where it gets mixed up. So it's impossible for non-fair trade chocolate manufacturers to guarantee the cocoa they buy here is child labour free.
I just wanted to know how much she got paid.
She doesn't get paid.
She doesn't get paid? Okay, so she's just working on her uncle's farm for her food and lodging.
Lara tells me that her father couldn't afford to feed her and Baba, so he sent them to their uncle. She works 6 hours a day and has never been to school.
This guy's pretty good at it. He's been working with me today. Come, Baba. Come, Baba's been working with me today. He's been showing me the ropes, showing me how to cut with a machete. How did that happen?
I see there. No, he was reading and he was cut by the cutlass.
Oh. Ask him, does he enjoy working every day?
I say, when did you I am out. Huh? Doesn't want to answer.
Ask him, like his sister, did he ever go to school? Did he go to school?
Baby, no.
He's never been to school. He's never been to school. Would you like to go to school? Would you like to go to school?
Yes, he would like to go to school.
He would like to go to school. Maybe the advert for some of these big chocolate manufacturers should go along the lines of the best chocolate in the world, sexual, seductive, beautiful, and produced by illiterate 10-year-old boys like Baba. If I could, I'd pay for him to go to school, you know. We should help him out. He wants to go to school.
I asked Baba's uncle whether he would let me pay him to send the boy to school.
It is out of poverty, because he was poor that he made them to work on the farm. It wasn't his choice.
Yeah.
But why would he refuse such help?
Tell Baba to put down his cutlass.
Baba, was it for and then last?
Of course they will not. These children in America are going to school, being reprogrammed, taught European philosophy. You understand? These children are being medically situated. You understand what I'm saying? And then on top of that, this infrastructure is teaching our children to be soft. You understand? Let me tell you guys, the last generation of realness, where schools didn't give a damn and you had to figure it out, you had to be tough. They wasn't coming home and saying, Mommy, I got bullied. It was the 80s babies. After 9/11, I told you guys this all the time. After 9/11, it was a massive switch in society. They purposely made you guys soft, told you, don't worry about being tough. We're going to protect you. We got the military over there. Meanwhile, these people are over there doing little things like that to ensure that you guys are completely dumbfounded while they taking full advantage of little children like that, man. You understand? I'm furious. You know what I'm saying? But I want you guys to see these things because you need to know what's really going on in our homeland. This is not our home. This is prison for us. And they took our brothers and sisters and locked them up mentally, physically, spiritually. Okay? In their land, our land. You understand? The land of colored people. Okay, I forgot how you say it in the language, but that's how they refer to Africa. They call it the land of the colored people. Okay? Let us continue.
And what about his sister? What can we do to help his sister?
He wants her to learn to sew, so he was planning to buy a sewing machine.
Ask her, does she want to learn to sew?
She wants to learn how to sew.
I tried to ask the big chocolate manufacturers, Cadbury and Nestle, about their policy on child labour, and they said that their trade organisation would answer on their behalf. The trade organisation said that the big chocolate companies do not want children to be harmed in the growing or harvesting of cocoa, and they point out that they fund projects that help farmers become more productive and are supporting a certification scheme run by the Ghanaian government to register cocoa farms and monitor employment practices.
But I don't believe this goes far enough. The certification scheme is 3 years behind the original schedule, and even when it's in place, it will only cover 50% of the cocoa growing regions. Not good enough, I'm afraid. The real solution to the tragedy of child labour may lie elsewhere. I've come to a farm which is part of the Kwapo Cocoa Fair Trade Cooperative. In return for slightly higher profits, farmers promise not to use child labour, and they're monitored to see that they don't. By the sums that I've done, I remember my maths isn't particularly good, they're making above average when it comes to Ghana. So these people are doing quite well. But the biggest difference here compared to the other cocoa farms are the kids. The kids are in school, they're speaking English. I just want to ask the children quickly, do you go to school?
Yes.
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 So if you want to be as sure as you can that your chocolate's not been made by child labour, then buy fair trade chocolate. Kwapo Cocoa's farmers are guaranteed a price for their cocoa plus $150 extra per tonne. This extra money goes into a fund which benefits them and their villages. But even then, there's a...
I'll be honest with you guys, I don't believe it one bit. I believe that because he's there with a camera is the reason why they're saying, oh, yes, yes, yes. Because think about that. Why, if they don't take child labor there, then why are the children there? I'll leave it as that. Let us continue.
Catch for the Ghanaians. At the port, what percentage of your beans actually sell at the fair trade price?
We have about 3%.
3%?
Yes.
Hold on a minute. Let me get that clear. You're saying of all the beans
you get in from the collective, fair traded, only 3% of them are actually fair trade price?
Yes.
Just
only
3%?
Yeah, just 3%.
I'm really shocked. Nearly all the cocoa produced by this fair trade cooperative isn't bought at the fair trade price and ends up mixed in with cocoa which may have been picked by children.
Isn't it unfair that you go to all the effort to ensure that there's not child labour, that kids go to school, that farmers get a decent return for their crops? After all of that, your cocoa gets mixed up with the people who've made no effort. Is that fair?
Yeah, it is not fair. It is not fair, but we cannot help the situation. We are not happy with it, and our prayer is that maybe one day fair trade will be able to take all our cocoa that we are producing here, for the betterment of the farmers.
This makes me really angry. I can't see why the big chocolate manufacturers can't buy more fair trade cocoa. It's in Ghana and it's available. Now, we in Britain consume more chocolate than anybody else in Europe, and I'm sure that most of us wouldn't mind spending a few extra pennies if we knew that the cocoa wasn't being farmed by children.
On the trail of the last of the high street products, I head further south to Obuasi, where they mine gold. We buy around £2 billion of the stuff every year in the form of jewellery. But next time you put on your bling, give a thought to what's happened to the place where it's produced. Gold is one of Ghana's most lucrative exports. Here in Obuasi, the biggest player is part British-owned Anglo Gold Ashanti, AGA. The result of a merger in 2004 between a Ghanaian and a South African-based company. Last year, AGA recorded gross profits of around £500 million.
I gotta say this while I'm, while I'm just in the moment. I just want you guys to understand something, that the British has a mass control over South Africa. Let me say that again. The British has a mass control over South Africa. Remember Cecil Rhodes? Okay, Cecil Rhodes' bloodline goes back to King James and heathen Elizabeth and etc. Now, why am I saying this? I want you guys to ask yourself a question. Could it possibly be that they put certain names and locations in the Bible and also named it within the word so brothers and sisters can accept the big blows and not give it any pushback? I want you guys to think about that. Let us continue.
From its global operations, but it doesn't look as if the people here are sharing in the bonanza. I travelled to Dochiwa village. In the 1980s, the Ghanaian government, supported by the IMF and World Bank, encouraged foreign investment. Hundreds of acres were bought up as potential gold mines. Local people were persuaded to sell their land in return for compensation they now claim was too little. And they say the impact on the environment has been devastating.
What did it look like before?
This whole area was full of cocoa, oranges, yam, plantain,
cassava.
But ever since the takeover, all these things are no more.
So ever since we started digging for gold, it's destroying the land. And in the advance for people like myself to wear jewelry, and I love wearing jewelry. I got $1,000 worth of jewelry that I got to keep in the safe. You just can't leave it hanging around. But seeing something like this, it really frustrates me. It really, I really got to evaluate myself as far as, where I'm tossing my money, right? Because I can't go to a jewelry store and speak to a jeweler who's always a Jewish person and make purchases of so-called gold and diamonds, right? Knowing that it's on the behalf of my fellow brothers and sisters who, as you can see, are complaining. All we heard is complaints. They don't like it. My brother right here is just telling us that, you know, these things used to produce yams. They used to have cocoa. They used to have all of that. Now it's turning into a dirt field just so we can look good on Instagram and Facebook. I mean, all right.
Was this land hilly before, or was it flat?
Yeah, it was flat.
Flat. It used to be all flat. So this hill wasn't there before? Okay.
This hill was built to hold back tons of waste products from mining. The locals claim their water supply has been polluted.
This was our main source of drinking water.
This used to be your drinking water. What do you use it for now?
Not even for bathing.
Not even for bathing?
Yeah.
But there's a man bathing in it over there.
No, it's
A University of Ghana survey found high levels of toxic substances in streams, fruit and boreholes in Obuasi. In one village, arsenic levels in water were recorded as 1,800 times higher than the World Health Organization maximum values. Things are no better in the nearby village of Bin Serif. Here, people have to share their life with a pit full of toxic waste less than 100 meters away from their houses.
Tell me what's happening here.
As I walk through the village, I stumble across grown men trying to scrape a living, literally. These people were farmers. Now they're illegal miners or glamse, reduced to trespassing on AGA land, stealing toxic waste from the pit and washing it out in the hope of finding slivers of gold.
Ask him, why did he start doing it? Tell me his story. Tell me why he has to do this.
In fact, I was a student.
This guy was actually a student,
yes, he was.
But he's had to resort to this because the revenue from his farm has gone.
Sometimes it leads to some of our colleagues dying, but the question again is we have to survive. So, keep on doing.
I'm amazed, and it gets worse. Local people claim AGA are too aggressive in protecting their property. Some even say they've been beaten up by the police and military.
10, 20 of our colleagues, take them to the community center.
Yeah.
They will gather the community around and they will beat us.
To deter people from
going there,
from doing it.
Yeah.
And who's that? The police or AGA security or the armed forces? Who?
The military.
The military. These marks here are all from the beating that they received.
The gun bats,
these
the belts.
lacerations.
Yes.
So all of these from the
As a result of the beating.
You know what? When I heard the people's stories being told this morning.
Now, when I hear individuals say things like, you know, the people that's running the world or working with them is and you know, I'm just gonna call it what it is, man. You know, they'll be like, always east on this. To be honest, guys, at this particular moment, I don't want to hear none of that. You know why? Because by the looks of things, everybody's just trying to survive. It's hard for you to have any political power. What power do you have when you have to answer to somebody? Our people must answer to these European powers. These European powers have military. They're not showing you these things. Oh, when you go look into the history, and I'll probably dive into it a little bit later after this presentation, I'll show you all the military bases from every nation that's not African in Africa. You understand? And the weapons that we have, and I'm just keeping it 100, the weapons that we have was the weapons that we had in the Desert Storms. Cheap AK-47s, no scopes. The rocket launchers is the cheap stuff. The tanks that we using is the same old tanks that was in World War II. We are way behind. Everything that these people are giving us, they're giving us hand-me-downs. You understand? And all of that is intentional. And then they keep the focus upon each other. Keep us warring with each other. It's divide and conquer, people. When I'm reading the Biblos, only thing the Biblos is promoting is division. divide and conquer. And these people are all together ensuring that we remain divided while they conquer. I'll just leave it as that. Let us continue.
I thought to myself, they're being treated like niggers. That's the only way you can describe how these African people have been treated. You cannot say to me that these people are considered to be human beings with feelings, with emotions, with values, with something worth living for, because the way that they've been treated here, I haven't got words for it. The only word that you can use is that they've been made to be and live like niggers, people who are less than human beings. In response to complaints from local people,
and they give you religion to soothe in that fear, you know? Put your trust in Jesus. Put your trust in Allah. Read the command. Keep the commandments and everything's going to be okay. Let's check this out, people. We've been keeping the commandments and yet we still not okay. According to the word, it says, if you keep my commandments, you should be the head and no longer the tail. Why are we still the tail? So who is the commandments really written for? Was it written for the Bantus, the Africans, the blacks, the Alkebulans? Or it was written by Lucifer? And because of Deuteronomy chapter 28, we proceed to believe that that's us. I'll leave it as that. Let us continue.
AGA say that they are helping the community. They've embarked on a $3 million program to cut malaria by spraying buildings with insecticide. But the locals claim the stagnant ponds provide a breeding ground for mosquitoes. The spraying manager disagrees.
Well, the mosquitoes breed in clean waters in their surroundings. Yeah. They do not go to them. When you go to the pit like this, it's not true. Well, I think he's telling lies. Yeah. The pit, every water coming out is full of chemicals. Yeah. And the mosquito is so wise that it will not go and breed in that. It will not even survive.
And before the mine pit was there,
I've been working about this.
Was there any malaria? Was there any malaria before that?
Oh, no. They're really committed to their well-being.
They're committed to their well-being?
Yeah.
Well, forgive me, I might be a bit simple, but this looks like a really rubbish village. Yeah. This doesn't look like a company is taking care of these people. There's no work. They've got very little food. How can you really, as a Ghanaian, say that the company is concerned about these people?
We have to cut it short.
I know you can't answer that. I know you can't answer that. I know you can't answer those questions.
No, I can answer, but if I answer, there are certain things I cannot.
I understand. Anglo Gold Ashanti make millions of pounds every year.
You must go and continue.
And there's nothing to show for it. But you can't answer that question.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. I'm not here to argue with you.
No, that's cowardice. Well, I tell you what, he's on the phone now.
Now, the reason why he's unable to answer, because he's under contract, he's working for the enemy. And when you are in these impoverished conditions, similar to why you see black people join police departments, arresting black people, even though you know that it's wrong, it's like, what else can I do? If I don't do this job, I'm going to be in these circumstances as these brothers and sisters. You understand? I want you guys to process and understand that this is a worldwide attack on black people. And every area or region has a different approach on how they're going to attack black people. Right? Africa overworked them, spray things to, bring forth diseases and malaria, whatever. You hear what the guy's saying. You understand? Ain't about no goddamn mosquitoes. Mosquitoes always been here. Since when mosquitoes been a problem. But they're doing that to destroy, and you see the approach that they do in Africa. Here in America is the total opposite. See, here in America, they don't want you to work hard. They want you to work less. They want you to sit back. They want you to have office jobs. They want you to eat your life away. See, they're doing experiments everywhere. They're spraying stuff over there, and they're spraying the food for you to eat over here while they sit back and watch the world of black people be destroyed. Let us continue.
Yes! And it's likely that he's going to be calling his boss, and we may have to move on here to get some
to see what is going on.
Yeah. Anglo Gold Ashanti dominates the economy in this area. Local people are frightened, angry, and fed up. But I'm determined to put their complaints to one of the company's bosses. I'm still waiting.
And let me just throw this out there, right? This is why I start questioning the Biblos, right? Because as you can see, these are people that's there. Some of these people have no ties to no religion, but yet have no understanding of the Biblos. Have absolutely no understanding. And I have to say these things because I'm starting to realize that this is part of the deception. See, once you know who King James is and you know what he was about, then you gotta question the so-called books they put together. And I hear everybody saying, oh, it's from the Bantu scrolls and this, etc., but yet nobody ever had access to the Bantu scrolls. People in the land don't know nothing about that. And those that's following those traditions, just know that these Jewish powers was forcing these ideologies on the people. I just want you guys to pay attention to that, right? Now, as far as the name of the creators, our gods, we have multiple. Ghana call on the creators one way, Sub-Saharan calls on the creators one way. But overall, we can't associate our creators with the philosophy of these Europeans. Because you see what's taking place. You see what's going on within our community. You're watching this right in front of your face, people. You're really watching this. Let us continue.
You to take a sip to prove to me that it's pure.
Be careful you don't drink it.
Away to the local HQ of one of Ghana's most powerful gold mining companies, Anglo Gold Ashanti, to confront the bosses. Local people say they are intimidated by the police and military who protect the mines, and they claim mining has polluted their water supplies.
Let me show you something that I picked up. This is some water from one of the boreholes. Yeah. What should the people who have to drink this water, because there's no other water, it's contaminated, all I want to know is, what should I go back and tell them?
Tell them that we are aware of the problem.
And what should they do?
We are trying to find a holistic approach.
You're trying to find a holistic solution. I'm still waiting for you to take a sip to prove to me that it's pure.
Be careful you don't drink it.
In the meantime, if you're in one of these communities, the water you drink makes you feel ill.
The issue is that the Obuasi ore body is associated with sulfur. This was given to us by God. Do you know that?
So you're saying that the water contamination so the arsenic is natural?
Immediately you disturb the rock formation, you unleash all these things to the environment.
Yeah.
But it's not only mining which unleashes these things.
Yeah.
Farming is one, illegal mining is one.
Yeah.
Even the government constructing roads.
The young men I spoke to in one village yesterday showed me the scars that they had from a beating which took place last month, which was witnessed by hundreds of people because they were taken from village to village and beaten in front of people. They claim that, as well as your own security, the army is there, and the army's been there for some time.
I'm not aware of any beatings of illegal mining by our security. If our security arrests an illegal miner or a trespasser or a pure armed robber, they hand them over to the national police. What happens there, to me, is not my concern. All that I want to see is that the guy is sent to court and maybe put at the place where he belongs.
In prison?
Yeah.
I leave feeling frustrated, but something had sunk in. The next day, Mr. Owasu agrees to meet some local people to discuss pollution, demands for compensation, and whether AGA is going to fill in the toxic pit at Bin Saray. Over an hour and a half, years of anger and frustration come flooding out.
Can the company develop a program of training for the young men who are over 16 and looking for work?
It's something that they have already planned, but this is an opportunity they are using to tell them.
Okay. We don't know what jobs it is, and we don't know how long it'll take. Lots of people have spoken to me about the pollution.
That is one thing. Immediately, we are going to have a look at.
They are going to address the water situation.
Rehabilitation of
the pit.
The pit will have to happen now.
What are they going to do about the problem of compensation?
If the government says you have to pay such an amount for this number of this thing, AGA cannot pay beyond that.
You can pay above it if you want to. You can pay. They can pay above it. Well, that's quite a meeting. I thought that the British were experts in fudging things and procrastinating, but I'm disappointed that there wasn't some kind of olive branch from the company to give the people real hope.
AGA say they are currently testing the water to try to get to the bottom of the contamination problem. But they still haven't filled in the pit at Bin Sereh, and there's little progress on the compensation disputes. Over the last month, I've followed the story of 3 high street products, and whether it's gold, rice or cocoa, we as consumers should be worried, very worried. Ghana has so many resources, yet the people are so poor. Is there anything we can do for this amazing country? As I ponder this huge question, my thoughts keep returning to Alara and Baba, the children I met working on the cocoa farm. I said I'd help them, and I must go back.
I've got your school uniform as I promised. It's your school uniform, so you can go to school. For Alara, it's your sewing machine. One of the things that really freaked me out was the fact that they had no conception of what chocolate was. So I thought I'd bring them a bar today just to actually show them what their labour produces. You've never had chocolate either. Tell him I want to see what he thinks of the taste.
That it is sweet, but it also has a bitter taste.
It's sweet, but it also has a bitter taste, and that really sums up perfectly the issues of cocoa and chocolate here. Yay! Yay! Woo!
Ah, it's so nice.
Look, ready for school now. Ready for school. Ready for school.
Children like Baba shouldn't be relying on acts of charity from me or anyone else, nor should his country. Yet Ghana is typical of many African nations. My journey is nearly over, and I return to where I began, in the capital Accra. The celebrations were over, and the crowds have gone. The atmosphere was electric, and the people euphoric. But the reality is that Ghana is a very poor country when it should be rich. In the 21st century, foreign masters are still pulling the economic strings. But as consumers, we can make a difference. With our buying power, we can hold big corporations to account. We can demand that Europe and the United States end unfair trade practices. And we can insist that the IMF and the World Bank act in the interests of poor countries.
Ghana may have its independence politically, but its economic independence is yet to be realised. I believe there needs to be a new war of independence for Africa. And in this new war, the soldiers are the consumers like you and me. This new war isn't about a military struggle, but it has to be militant. And in this new war, there has to be a slogan that drives us all forward. And it's not one settler, one bullet, but instead, trade justice for Africa.
If you'd like to follow up the issues raised by the programme, simply go to...
Yeah. First and foremost, let me give a shout out. Hold on, let me give a shout out to Brother Robert for his phenomenal work. Raising awareness and showing people what's really going on in the land is always, fruitful, food for thought. Just watching this, people, I have a whole lot of mixed emotions for the little girls that gotta go leave their house without even telling their parents, for them leaving their house without telling their parents, and still even the man there, as you can see, these girls are now being under control by other men that's out there. So 9 out of 10 times, man, they probably selling their body parts. It's crazy, right? To see the little homie never going to school, never receiving some level of education. That's crazy. As and last but not least, it's just knowing what they're doing with the gold and how they really got our people, in their hands. Like they really got our people in their pockets. And it's just you in these circumstances where you gotta just decide, is this is something I want to do or not? You understand? So does that alone, you know what I mean? It's just frustrating, man, for real. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. It's very disappointing. I gotta bang the gavel. We gotta bang the gavel. This is unacceptable. This is unacceptable. I can't accept it. This thing, we must do better. And these are the things that I've been saying for the last couple of months now. We doing all this talking. We need to do something. Who can we speak to? How can we be involved? I know money is hard right now for us here in America, but we gotta do something. Even if it's $100, we gotta do something because our people is really suffering. These children are being taken advantage of. These elderlies is being taken advantage of. And it's unfair. And all of that ties in with religion, okay? And politics. There's no politics without a little bit of religion, and there's no religion without a little bit of politics. One hand washes the other. And this is the prime example of neo-colonialism, where they're just sitting back and allowing us to destroy ourselves. This young boy that went to school, he's not going to school to learn about African culture or greatness, Egyptology, and anything that's of colored. No. He's going to learn English. He's going to learn European philosophies. He's going to learn about Socrates. He's going to learn about Jesus. He's going to learn about everything but a black man, the black culture. He's not going to know nothing about the culture, the cultural aspect from the village that they're from. They're not going to learn none of this. This is a full-fledged attack on humanity. Our people are under attack. This is a full-fledged attack on humanity. Now, the brother said at the end, he stated that we should not buy, or we have power in the things that we purchase. No. This world is so evil that even if black people decide to no longer support those three things, which is cocoa, rice, and gold, the Europeans, the Chinese, the Mexicans, and all the other races, the Arabs, are going to continue to purchase these things, continue to enforce these children laborers. And there's nothing you can do about it. The only thing that we can do is fight. It's fight. Nothing else matters. There's no religion that's going to save us. There's no walking a certain way that's going to save us. All of these things is not going to save us. The universe is the one that's going to save us. The understanding of the creators and understanding the creators based on your African culture, not the European culture that we try to put African on top of. That's not the way. Because if it was the way, we would have overcame a long, long time ago. You can't associate Sunini Nanini with the stories that was told to us by the enemy. See, the name Sunini Nanini came from the land, from the people that's in the land. And if the name came from the people that's in the land, guess what we need to do? We need to start having a dialogue with people from the land. And I'm not talking about over the phone, WhatsApp, and all of that. I'm talking about physically being there, allowing the creators to show their eyes and dwell themselves in us, because now we are in the lands filled with milk and honey. And allow the creators to put themselves in us so we can really do change and really see positive outcomes within our people. No one is going to make the change but us. Not me, not you, not them, not religion, not the Biblos. None of it is gonna make the change but us. We got the heads up already. We got two things that we always needed and we got it. Now it's time to move forward. We got the location and the archaeological facts on where the Holy Land is. Do you understand? And we got the understanding and the name of our creators. Round of applause for that. Is there any questions, anybody? Is there any questions? And I know YouTube, like I said, YouTube is messing with my numbers. And it's okay. I'm not mad at all. Because when we speak about stuff like this, these are the things that's gonna affect their pockets, and they can't promote that. But we gotta start doing better, people. The change is only gonna come from within us. The love is only gonna come from within us. Our people that's over there are not looking for no religious foundation. They're looking for solutions. They're looking for an army to protect them. They're looking for strong-minded individuals, and I'm talking about mentally, to guide them. Or vice versa. I want to just take the time out to just say thank you, for all you guys, for all your continuous support. Like I said, these are the conversations we're gonna be having moving forward. I'm not doing none of that, all that extra stuff that I did. Sometimes I might give you guys some research depending on how I feel. But now it's time for us to see and speak to the people of the land. Time for us to start tapping into our own people, have our own ideologies. Time for us to tap into our culture. Time for us to tap into our belief. I'm not taking the words for a European to describe and tell me who I am. Not doing that. Because these same people are taking full advantage of innocent children in the land right now as we speak. 80% of all minerals is going to Africa, but yet Africa remains one of the poorest countries here in the world. If there's no more questions, any questions? No? I'm going to give you guys 5 seconds. 10 seconds. Ask your questions. If not, I'm going to gracefully bow out. You go ahead. The floor is yours, people. It's crazy. It's crazy. And one of the things, like you see what I say behind, what you can see in the background, religion was a tool, was a weapon used to neutralize and civilize individuals. And the extra clip was the biblos. I'm telling you guys this the truth. I've been digging down this rabbit hole, and I come to the conclusion, and I know exactly what's causing us to fall. My brother went into a Muslim community. Look, where's Allah for them? You come into my hood, it's a Christian community. Where's Jesus for them? Ask yourself these questions, people. What has Buddha done for you? What are these religions doing for you? It's doing absolutely nothing. It's destroying us. It's dividing us. It's promoting self-hatred. And it's keeping us. It is keeping us from wanting to go home. It's your brother, man, from the motherland. I came to you guys live. Listen, if it's your first time, I hope it's not your last time. If it's your second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth time, that means I'm still on your mind. And that means you got to get on that grind, because you better get yours, because I'm going to get mine. And for those that don't know who I am, I said it once, let me say it again. I am him, Jones, the Honorable Jones, the NBIC. You understand? AKA Mr. Keep My Foot on you heathens, you Hegroes, and the newly installed Heathenites snakes. Are you dumb or are you dumb? Listen to the Creator say one time for the one time. And that's the order. And I'ma holler at y'all. One.